Seoul, a city of more than 25 million people, is one of Asia's most cosmopolitan and vibrant metropolises. Life feels completely normal. Coffee chains, cosmetics, convenience stores on every corner. But hidden in plain sight are traces of a deeper reality. This city lives and breathes within artillery range of the world's most fortified border. The city of Seoul changed hands 4 times during the Korean War between the north and the south. And as such, large parts of the city were flattened and destroyed. So most of the city now, the residential areas, are kind of like what you see around me. This is actually the area I used to live in when I lived here 10 years ago. I lived here for 2 years. And so most of what you see of Seoul today is rebuilt in the 60s, 70s and 80s, the post-war era. There's very little left of old Seoul. Yet beneath Seoul's futuristic skyline lies an ancient heart. The city has been the seat of kings for more than 600 years when the Joseon dynasty moved its capital here in the 14th century. At Gyeongbokgung, the old royal palace, the royal guards once protected the king himself. The ceremony you see today is a faithful recreation, reconstructed from surviving Joseon-era texts and paintings.
이어서 교대 수문군의 배치가 이어지겠습니다.
Next, the new guard will change formation.
接下来，交接守备军将变换队形。
次は交代スムン軍の隊形を変更します。
중군 9군 중군 9군 저울로 저수문군 중군 9군 현재 수문군이 착용한 군복은 15세기 복식을 재현한 옷입니다.
The uniforms are a reproduction from the 15th century.
我们军的军服在江户朝鲜前期15世纪的服饰。
ただいま兵士たちが着用している衣装は15世紀の衣装を再現したものです。
겠습니다. 이어서 수문장
One of the coolest things I think here is that everyone is not only welcomed but actively encouraged to take part in Korean culture. So at the changing of the guard ceremony here at Gyeongbokgung, which is the ancient palace of the Joseon dynasty, you can see people of all countries, races. You can see black, white, Middle Eastern, Indian, pretty much everybody wearing traditional Korean clothing. And apparently you can get free entry into any of the Joseon era palaces as long as you show up in full Korean traditional dress, no matter what country you're from. And to me, that is a really, really inclusive attitude to their culture. There's no kind of idea of cultural appropriation or anything like that. It's just everyone's welcome. Come along, dress up and join in. There is one small area that represents what Seoul looked like prior to the destruction of the Korean War. Bukchon means North Village, and a stone's throw from the royal palaces is made up of traditional hanok houses. But survival has a price, and Bukchon now suffers heavily from over-tourism. Residents have started posting signs asking for quiet, and some streets are cut off completely. So I want to just interrupt this video briefly to talk to you guys about a product that I use quite a lot myself. Now, I think you know me well enough by now to know that I would not endorse just anything. If I'm going to promote something, it's only going to be something that I truly believe in and something that I genuinely do use myself. Some of you may know that I also work as a journalist and geopolitical analyst. And having this line of work has made me acutely aware of the biases that are present in a lot of mainstream media reporting on world events. And as such, it becomes harder to know what's really going on and to separate reality from the narratives that are being spun. And so one of the products that I use to get around that is something called Ground News. Ground News is an app and website that combines news from around the world in one place so you can compare coverage. For every news source, you can see if they have a political bias, how reliable their reporting is, and who owns them. You can verify your information and know where the news is coming from. With Ground News, you can see what the media is exaggerating, sensationalizing, over or under reporting. You can see who funds each publication, compare coverage, and think critically about the information you consume. Go to check.ground.news/monkeystealspeach to check it out now. If you subscribe for my link, you get 40% off the Vantage subscription. When I was living here around 10 years ago, you used to see US soldiers in their uniforms all over Seoul, especially in this district which I'm in now, Itaewon. I haven't seen a single one on this trip, so I looked it up, and apparently the main US Army base that was here in Seoul at Yongsan has been closed down, and most of the soldiers, or all of the soldiers, have been moved out of Seoul and to a place called Camp Humphreys. What used to be the US military base has now been turned into a park, so we're going to go have a look at that. For most South Koreans, the US alliance is the cornerstone of national security. The North's missiles can reach this city in minutes, and the American military serves as a deterrent if you want to test. But it's not without tension. Some see the alliance as a guarantee of safety. Others see it as a constraint on sovereignty. Across the border, the narrative is absolute. In North Korean propaganda, US troops in the south are described as occupation forces, their presence portrayed as proof that Korea remains divided by foreign interference, a justification for Pyongyang's vast military spending. For China, this isn't just about North Korea, it's about the regional balance of power. Beijing views the US presence here as part of a wider strategy of containment, and many argue that China's support for North Korea serves to maintain a buffer, keeping American forces off its doorstep. I'm in what's now called Yongsan Park, which when I lived here 10 years ago was the US military command, the center for all US military activities here in South Korea. It's kind of bizarre just to walk around what essentially was completely off limits to all South Koreans in their own country. And it's now, as you can see, just a place where people just come to hang out, just walk around, take photos. South Korea is still home to the third largest US military presence in the world after Germany and Japan. And there's I think 28,000 or so US troops still stationed here. And the largest military base, US military base in the world is now Camp Humphreys, which is outside of Seoul, which is the one that replaced Yongsan where we are now. There is essentially two main reasons why there is such a large US military presence here in South Korea. The obvious one being we're on the doorstep of North Korea, which, as we all know, is not exactly the best friend of the West. And there has been no peace treaty ever signed with North and South Korea still at war. The slightly less obvious but very much present in the current geopolitical context is China. You may have heard of the island chain strategy. Now, if you haven't heard of the island chain strategy, it's essentially a strategy that the US came up with to contain China and limit Chinese access to the Pacific Ocean. There are 3 island chains. The first one, which is called the First Island Chain, begins up here in South Korea. This is the northernmost point of it. Goes down through Japan, Taiwan, Philippines, and then several other islands down in Southeast Asia. And all of these islands either have direct US military presences, or they at least have those countries have at least some sort of security guarantees or some kind of treaties with the US.